Hi one and all. So in the previous class, we discussed the common exceptions that the RPA developer may face while developing the robots, and we also learned ways to handle the common exceptions, right? Along with this, we learned one more important concept called logging, which is similar to a ledger book maintained in our department laboratory, right? Have you remembered that example? That ledger can be used by different authorities like HOD, class, the instructor, or the course. The faculty for different purpose, right? Similarly, here in UiPath Studio, the log will be maintained at the client side as well as at the server side. It can be used by different authorities like testers or developer in order to get additional information about the project, which will be useful for them in order to improvise the application. Clear? So and along with this, we also learned one more an interesting way that is available for the RPA developer in order to get the solution for the problem. If the problem persists while developing the robots, called taking screenshots. These screenshots acts as an media, as I can say communication media from one party to another party. When this party wants to know the solution for the problem that he is facing, that screen can be captured and it can be sent to other party who knows the solution, and that party can understand the problem present in the application using that screenshot, and he can come back with the solution to this party. So we already have learned all this in the last class, and we also have learned ways that is available for the RPA developer to take the screenshot, right? So in today's class, we shall go ahead with another interesting concept called debugging techniques. As the name itself says, debugging techniques are nothing but the techniques provided by UiPath Studio for the RPA developer to check whether the workflow is running successfully or not. Or more specifically, these debugging techniques are the techniques which helps the RPA developer to find out errors in the application, and once they find errors, they can able to rectify them. Clear? Or the bottom line is, debugging techniques ensures that the application developed by the RPA developer is free from errors. Clear? Okay. Or you can also understand like this: debugging techniques helps the RPA developer to find out the errors, in the application that they are developing, and to remove those errors from the application that they are developing, to make to ensure that the application that they are developing is error free, right? So where they can access now the author is telling that where they can access these debugging techniques. Where the RPA developer can access these debugging techniques is under the execute block, it seems, okay, which has been shown in this figure. So this was the scenario in UiPath Studio, more specifically 2018 version of UiPath Studio. But in the current version, there is no option called execute here. Instead of execute, there is an option called debug itself. I will show you practically about this. Clear? Now, according to this diagram, so these are the techniques, it seems. These are the techniques that are available for debugging the application, called setting breakpoints, slow step, highlight, break, etc. Clear? So these are the techniques, more specifically debugging techniques, that we will discuss in today's class. So these are the techniques which helps the RPA developer to find out the errors in the application and to remove those errors. Clear with this? Okay. Now with that, we shall go ahead with the first technique, interesting technique which is available for the RPA developer to debug the application is setting breakpoints. So we shall go first theoretically, then we will go with a practical example. So according to the author, see here, the author is telling that while debugging a workflow or a project generally, usually a programmer will set breakpoint, it seems, in between the activities. If they want to run the program up to specific location or up to specific activity, it seems. For example, let us assume that this is the workflow that you are developing, which has, let us understand at a high level, 3 activities. I am treating this as three activities. Okay, if you want to include the breakpoint at this activity, you can include the breakpoint here itself. This is the signal that is indicating that breakpoint added here. Clear? Or else, if you are really interested in this activity, or if you want to see what is happening at this activity or at this level, then you can insert a breakpoint at this point, it seems. So this is what the author is telling that. So if you want to debug your application, depending on the requirement, you can able to insert a breakpoint in between any activities, it seems. Clear? And then once you insert the breakpoint, then that activity will be highlighted, it seems. And if you want to continue, I mean, it will stop at this. I mean, if you have inserted the breakpoint here at this activity, then while debugging this workflow or project, your debugger will stop at this point. I mean, it will stop at this point and it will wait for your instructions. And if you say continue, see here, if you say continue by clicking a continue button, there will be a continue button here. If you click this, then it will go to the next activity and so on. Clear? This is what the author is telling. Okay, and if you I will come back to this slow step later. Okay, first we shall see about this breakpoint practically. So now we'll go to the tool. In order to save the time, directly I'm jumping to the tool and see here. Can you see here? So I have placed few activities in the designer panel once again to save the time. And moreover, these activities are, I think you people already familiar with this. See here, I have taken one sequence, and inside the sequence I have taken an assign activity, and I have created a variable called I, which is a simple integer variable. Okay, and first I am initializing I variable to 0 initially here, and inside this sequence I have one more sequence, and inside this sequence just I am displaying a string 1 in the dialog box. Then after that I am assigning I to 1. Then I have one more sequence, and inside this sequence I am trying to display the string 2 in the dialog box. A simple scenario. So just go through this scenario. Once again I will repeat, I have created only one variable called I, which is of type integer variable, and initially I have assigned value 0. Then I am displaying string 1 in the dialog box inside a local sequence. And then in the outer sequence I am assigning value 1 to the I variable, and I have placed one more sequence here, and inside the sequence I am just printing string 2 in the dialog box. Okay, just have placed one sequence inside another sequence for better understanding. That's it. Clear? Okay, now I will explain you this window where what the author has done theoretically. So if you want to or if you want to experience debugging activities, then you have to go inside the execute block. This is what the author is telling, right? And yeah, that is true in case of 2018 version of UiPath Studio, but in current version of UiPath Studio 2020, then as I said, can you see here, there is no execute here. There is a option called debug here. You have to click here, then you will get the debugging options like step into, step over, step out, breakpoints. Can you see here, breakpoints? This is what we are discussing about, breakpoints. Can you see here? Okay, now if you want to view the breakpoint, see, this is the breakpoint window. Initially this breakpoint window will not be there. If you want to view that, just click this and click show breakpoints panel. Then it will show you breakpoints panel. Clear? This is the breakpoints panel. In few minutes you will come to know what is the use of this. And if you want to see, for example, let us assume that I want to stop the execution at this point. So before coming to breakpoint, we shall see what happens. Okay, just I am debugging the application. Okay, see, just observe that it won't stop anywhere. Can you see? First 1 will be displayed, 2 will be displayed. Yeah, correct. So it won't stop anywhere because I have not inserted any breakpoint here on any activity. Clear? Now I will right click on this. Can you see here, toggle breakpoint? So just right click on the activity where you want to insert the breakpoint, then click toggle breakpoint, and this is the symbol which says that a breakpoint has been inserted. Can you see here? Now I hope you can understand the use of breakpoints panel. Just it will display the breakpoints that you have added in your application. And this option will enable all breakpoints, and this option will disable. Now it has been disabled. This breakpoint has been disabled. I mean, it is ineffective. See, I will show you practically. Now I'm running the application. So it is ineffective. So it is not happening anything. We have not enabled this breakpoint. Clear? And if you want to delete all the breakpoints, just click this, and it will, a confirmation window will appear. Then click yes. Then the breakpoint will be removed. Clear? Okay. Now I will add the breakpoint. I have added a breakpoint. Now interesting. Observe here. Observe here. Now I will debug the file. Now see here what happens if you insert the breakpoint. This is what I was theoretically it will stop here. See here your application has been paused. Not actually, I can say stopped here. More suitable term is paused here. It has been paused here. And see, interesting, it will, you can see in the output panel what is happening. Execution started, main has been executed, and under in main there is a sequence and it is executing, still it is executing, and assign is executing, and assign has been closed. I mean the control is here, and this the execution of this assign activity has been completed, and you are here. Clear? This is the information will be useful for the debugger. And one more interesting thing is, see here, this is there is a window called locals, which see, can you see a section called variables, and in under this section it will show you all the variables that you have been created in your application. But here I have created only one variable called I, and hence it is showing I, and it will also show you the type and the value that was there before entering into this sequence, called is 0, right? Correct? Current value is 0. Now if you want to execute the current activity, see here this activity, if you want to execute this activity, then you can click step into, or you can click continue. Clear? Again step into, then it will execute the message box. Clear? Click OK. Can you see here? Parallelly you can able to track what is happening, and still I value is 0. Again step into. Now see, sequence has been closed. That sequence has been executed successfully, and now it is in assign. Then step into. So I am going one by one. That's it. One by one. Can you see here? See here at this state, what is the I value? It has been changed to 1. So like this, debugger will can able to identify the variable values and their states generally, and they can see what is happening, which sequence or which activities, whether it has been executed successfully or not. Clear? Then again step into, then again step into, so that message box has been executed, then step into, or you can click continue, then step into. So now it has successfully executed or I can say debugged. Again step into. Okay, or else I think I started again. I want to stop. So this is the stop option, which helps the RPA developer to to stop the debugging operation. Clear? Okay. And there is one more interesting option which is there for the debugger. I will come back to this. So I hope you understood what is the use of breakpoint. And there is no rule that you should insert only one breakpoint. You can insert any number of breakpoints as you wish, depending on your requirement. Clear? So that's what breakpoint means. And there is one more interesting debugging technique called slow step, as the name itself says, which slows the execution. That's it. It will slow down the execution process. And where you can get this, can you see here slow step? Now it has been off. Now if you click on this, so now it will run. Now it will run in 1x speed. Now a little bit slower. See here. I hope you are experiencing that. I can click continue. Now you are debugging. Now you are debugging the program at 1x speed. Still, if you want a little bit speeder, again click this. Now it is in 2x. Again click 3x, 4x, then off. So this is how, depending on the requirement, you can control the speed of execution also. So that is the use of slow step debugging activity. And highlighter, as the name itself says, it will highlight the steps or the activities during the automation or during debugging. So again, I will tell you how to do this in the current version of UiPath Studio. Can you see here? Just click highlight element. This is very similar to, even if you don't click this, it will highlight the elements. I will tell you what is highlighting means. See whether it is highlighting the activity. Can you see here? This is what highlighting means. Even if you don't click that highlight elements, it will highlight. See, it will highlight the current or actually where the control is. Can you see here? So that is what highlighting means. Can you see? Can you observe? Can you observe? It is highlighting the activity, current activity. Clear? So that's what highlight means. Okay. As I said, if you do, even if you don't on this, by default it will highlight the elements. And there is one more interesting debugging technique. I will tell you what is the use. So in the 2018 version, highlighting option we are getting like this, under option and highlight activities like this. Even I can click it here and I can highlight the activities. As I said, even if you don't click this, it will highlight the activities. Better to this highlight elements, I think execution trial is best. This option, this is the new option which is present in the new version of UiPath Studio called execution trial. So I think this is better compared to highlight elements. See here, see the interesting use of execution trial. See, can you see here? So this says that partially this sequence has been executed and partially this activity has been executed and the execution of this activity has been completed. See, I think this is much useful. Again, partial execution of this activity has been performed. Now completely this sequence has been executed. Again, step into partial execution. I hope you are getting. Then completely this sequence also has been executed, but the main sequence still yet to be completed. Now whole sequence has been executed completely. Okay, now it will stop. So that is a use of execution trial. So I think that is better compared to highlight elements. And the last debugging technique is called break. Actually break, if you run this here, you will get break, or you can use break activity which we have learned in the previous class. As the name itself says, break activity is used to break the process at a certain point. So like similar to inserting a breakpoints, choose the point where you need to insert a break between the activities or between the inside a sequence. Based on that, you can either you can use the activity called a break here. So we already have learned this break activity which we have used inside the loop. Either you can use this or while running, I mean this icon will be changed to a pause symbol or break symbol. Okay, if you want to view that, I will show you. Can you see here? Execution has been paused. Now it is in continue. Again I will continue, click continue. Can you see here? Break. Yeah, that's what the author was telling. Or you can use a break activity. Say once again, this is also an interesting debugging technique which helps the RPA developer to get additional information about the activities or the project, what is happening behind the scene, so that if there is a problem, those information will help them in order to solve the problems. So again, once they break, if you want to continue with further, you can click continue option. That's what the author is telling. So this is about the debugging techniques which I plan to cover in this session. So I hope you understood the topics. It is very simple. Once again, I will conclude. So debugging techniques will give us the techniques that are available in UiPath Studio for the RPA developer to debug the applications that they are developing, right? So the very good interesting techniques are setting the breakpoints, and I have shown you practically how to set the breakpoints and how to check the content of the variables in the local panel and how to make use of the breakpoints panel efficiently. And I explained about another interesting technique called slow step. As the name itself says, we slow down the speed of the execution. Execution trial will give you additional information saying that which has been which activity has been executed completely or whether it has been executed partially and so on. Highlighting is the default one which will highlight the current activity, And log activities we already have learned in the this is also one more. Don't think that this is not a debugging technique. This is also another interesting debugging technique which logs everything what is happening inside the sequence. As I said in the last class, if you want to see the log file, just click on that open log file, and with respect to the date and time you can choose the file, and you can see what is happening at that time, so that even this is also an useful information for a debugger to identify or to understand what is happening behind the scene, or to which helps to find out the errors, and once they find out the errors they can solve the problems. Clear? So this is what we discussed in today's class. And the last topic of unit 4 is titled as collecting crash dumps, so which is also one more interesting concept which we will cover in the next class. Clear? So with this I will stop today's class, and if you have any doubt regarding this, so you can please contact me. Thank you, Ananda.